Okay, let's talk a minute about puckering versus tongue blocking. Just so you know, I'm playing off of the groove tracks again here. This is the real easy groove in the key of E. This comes from disc 1, track 4. And if you want to get a hold of this, you can always pick it up at harmonica123.com. But let's talk about the tongue blocking and the puckering thing. I often get asked, do you pucker, do you tongue block, what is your method, how do you know what you're doing, when you're doing it, etc. So let's just talk for a second. I started off learning as a pucker player. Just make the pucker, put the harp in, seal off the note you want, and get that note. And I am still a pucker player 50% of the time, but I have infused a lot more tongue blocking into my playing as I've gone along in my development. I'd say I started trying to tongue block single notes around a year and a half or so into my playing. The thing about it is this: if you want that bluesy sound, you'll hear people say you must tongue block. I disagree. You must, I would add to that by saying you must tongue block at least some of the time. And let's talk about the examples where you can't avoid tongue blocking. If you don't already know it, if you want that percussive tongue slap, where you get the chord before the single note, and you're popping your tongue on and off, you must tongue block. There's one example. If you want to play octaves, you must tongue block. If you want to do a tongue flutter, you must use tongue blocking of some sort, putting the tongue on the harmonica. Or the side to side, those types of effects, you have to use tongue blocking. You can't escape it. So when do I decide between pucker and tongue block? Well, I don't anymore. It's very much subconscious decisions that are happening in the moment. But I know for sure that on holes 1 through 3, I always pucker. And on all of my bending, I'm puckering 100% of the time. Other than that, I'm tongue blocking a lot of any draw notes that are happening, even single notes here, so between holes 4 and 8, approximately. And then, of course, I'm tongue blocking all of the techniques I was talking about where you can't get away from using your tongue on the harmonica. I almost every single time, 100% of the time, you hear me playing the middle of the harp without bends, I'm tongue blocking it. And when I move my way down, eventually, when I get to the 3 area, you'll hear me, that's when I'm switching over to the pucker. So that is my approach. And you know, the high end with all that stuff, the first position and blow bends and all that, that's puckering for me. So that's how I use it. I feel like I can get the tone I want out of the pucker method. I can get a big sound by opening up the interior of my mouth. The cavity inside is becoming as large as I can make it, and opening the throat up to get the tone I want when I am doing the pucker method. So that is my take on puckering versus tongue blocking.